session 2, which is based on brand guidelines of TI. Our first session of unboxing PR was a very successful one. There was Zoom meetings one, and this time, since we have seen and observed that there has been a lot of confusions and doubts regarding the brand guidelines among the new VPPRs as well as the new members, and since many of the posts which we are seeing in the District 41 page, there are doubts regarding it. That's why we decided to have a very quick session on brand guidelines. So, what are the guidelines and why do we need the guidelines in Toastmasters International? Toastmasters International is a brand, and as the PRs of the brand, we are the face of our clubs. For example, whenever you see an advertisement on your screen, if you see the color green and yellow of a soap brand, at the very same moment you recognize that the brand is of Dettol soap. So the brand guidelines are not a set of restrictions for you or a set of rules, but it's something which represent the cohesiveness of your organization. When you join Toastmasters or any of the posters which you have seen of the region or of the district, what are the things which you have noticed at the first? If anyone would like to unmute them and answer the questions, it would be lovely. The first thing which you notice on a Toastmasters International poster or a flyer.
TI logo.
Yes, TI logo. Any specific colors?
Color blue.
Yes.
Yeah, specific fonts or specific colors.
Yes. So even if the logo is not there or the word Toastmasters is not there, if you see a poster with the color maroon, blue, yellow, and white, I hope most of you would be able to recognize that the poster is from a Toastmasters club, isn't it? So that's what we have to do. As the PRs, we need to protect our brand. For example, if you have a company of your own, would you like anyone else to come up and showcase their own things? No, right? So as a brand, you need to continue what we are following, the specific colors, the specific fonts, the specific pictures. Now, as the Toastmasters brand, it follows the specific colors of yellow, maroon, blue, white, and black, and its logo. It has a tagline of where leaders are made, and it has a very polite and professional and very warm outlook whenever you see a poster or even if you attend a meeting of a Toastmasters. The first thing which you experience over there is the politeness, the friendliness, and the warmness of the people and the warmth of the people over there. That is what we have to represent even through our posters and whatever we post on our social media. So these guidelines are nothing but a set of helplines for you so that you can just continue with the brand guidelines. Now, why guidelines? It's a personal brand and it helps you, and each member of your club is a brand ambassador of your club or the district or the entire organization of TI. Whenever if a person from your club is going to another to a new place, and the way he behaves, the way he talks, it's polite, it's professional. The other person who is not known of TI is going to ask, are you a part of any public speaking leadership program? The person is going to say, yes, I'm a part of TI. So that's how you become the brand ambassador of the entire organization. You become the face of your brand. As the VPPR, not all the members have the access to just post and share their club posters and all those things. So as a VPPR, you have the opportunity and you have the power to showcase the brand which you are promoting. So it comes under you how you promote your clubs on social media. So the way you promote your clubs through your posters or through your posts gives an outlook of how your club is. Now, why, do you think there are like thousands and thousands of clubs of Toastmasters Club, but still there is some commonness among all the clubs? Why? It's because of the brand guidelines. The fundamentals of each of the clubs are the same. Each of them are friendly, they're polite, and they're professional. Even though there are different types of clubs, some might be Gavelous clubs, some might be advanced clubs, some might be community clubs, and some might be corporate clubs. There are different types of clubs, but the fundamentals of each of of every club stand same. And how do we do that? By following the brand guidelines, the core values of TI, which is integrity, rise, service, and excellence. And through using all these, we need to use them and use them in our posters and in our social media, whatever we are doing. So these taglines and core values and brand promise are not just for reading, but as we PRs, we need to imbibe them in our posts as well. So when you post a flyer on the social media, even those who are not in the TI community are able to understand that yes, you are promoting a specific brand. You are the face of the brand. So you have that responsibility to protect and promote that brand. Now, these brand guidelines are a set of unified elements all together, all the colors, all the specific fonts, all the regulations which we have regarding the logos, and all the specific pictures which we use in our brand guidelines. They're all a set of unified elements. If you change the picture, for example, we usually use all these kinds of professional meeting rooms, conference room pictures in our posters. If you add a picture of a vacation or a holiday, it instantly changes the mood of the posters, and people are not able to relate it to Toastmasters International. If you see the posters of the region posters or the district posters, they are very professional. They're always very conference room types or the meeting room types. So it gives an idea that yes, we promote professionalism. So that's what you have to keep in mind when you design a posters. And this is which is and these elements, these unified elements, all these set of elements are going to shape the perception of the organization which you are a part of and you are promoting. So this is regarding why you need the brand guidelines. There are many questions that why do we need these brand guidelines? It's going to curb our creativity. No, I would like to say if you have these guidelines, it becomes easier for you and it becomes more challenging for you so that you make more out of your creativity. Many of the times we think that no, the theme of the meeting is so fun, but we need to stick to our professionalism and we need to stick to our guidelines, so we cannot make a poster or something like that. That's how we are sticking to our brand. That's how we're continuing with what TI is promoting. So if you're having a poster of a holiday theme meeting, make sure that you are having a picture which is a group of people who are like talking together, who are sitting together, not a beachside or a riverside. Make sure that you continue with the theme as well as with the message of TI or the guidelines of TI which it follows. That's how we need to design each and every posters of ours. So just keep one thing in mind: these brand guidelines are not a set of restrictions. You need to use them. It's for your health. It's for our health, so that we can promote it, so that we can protect our brand. So with this, I would like to hand over the stage to Anuj, who will be showing you all the visual guidelines which we need to follow whenever you are designing your posters. There are many doubts regarding which logo we should use, which color codes we should use, and the brand manual shows each and everything in a very detail. And today, Anuj would be explaining each of them to you. Over to you, Anuj.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. So in terms of moving on with the brand guidelines and before going into the specifics about how the logo should be represented, what kind of fonts we should use, the first thing we need to remember is whenever we talk about a brand identity is achieved through consistency. If we think about all of the biggest brands in the world, they have represented consistency for a long, long time. Everything from Nike, everything becomes very recognizable because of the consistency. Everything from their "Just Do It" tagline to their swoosh and their type font. As soon as you see that swoosh, you remember Nike. That is something similar to what Toastmasters is trying to achieve with their brand guidelines as well. Whenever we think of the color font, maroon, blue, yellow, and the other accents that we talked about, Toastmasters should come pop into our mind. Similarly, the kind of aura that we are trying to establish with Toastmasters is friendly yet professional, and the key thing being professional. So whenever we are trying to design our posters, whenever we're trying to design any kind of promotional materials, we have to remember to maintain that aura of professionalism. So with that said, we can move on to the specific guidelines that we need to use, that we need to remember when we are designing our posters, which are, of course, the visual guidelines. The first visual guideline is always the most recognizable aspect of Toastmasters, which is, of course, their logo. The logo needs to be highlighted in a certain way whenever we are designing, that it needs to stand out from the rest of the design. There should be a clear space around the logo and an additional space before you include any kind of text. So if you are designing and you're placing your logo, you have to make sure that there is space around the logo so that it does not look cluttered. The major reason for this is proximity. If you consider design principles, one of the key elements that we need to remember is proximity, because how our brain works is that when objects are grouped together, our brain tends to process it together as one big object. Whereas the logo should not be confused with the rest of the design. It needs to stand alone on its own. Hence, when you place a space around it, gives it that essence that the logo is separate. We can use it in grayscale and in white, with a minimum size for digital designs of 72 pixels. And if you're going for print, a 1/4 inch size. There are variations of the logo that we can use. The first one is the logo itself. The second one being the wordmark. Similar rules apply to the wordmark as well, where you need to place clear space around the logo with similar size restrictions on web and print versions. So the Toastmasters logo is an integral part of the brand's visual identity. So that is why it is very, very important that we maintain these guidelines, especially on the logos as well. There are different variations of the logo that we can use. Some alternate ways to use it are with the website, with the establishment date, and with the tagline as well. However, there are certain things that we should generally avoid. The most common one that we tend to do when we're designing is mistakenly we can put it into different perspectives, which we should need to try to avoid. There are a few variations of what we might be doing by mistake. We cannot change the proportion of any of the logo elements or any of the logo elements of the logo itself. We cannot replace anything inside the logo with customized for clubs or districts. And we cannot definitely change the logo colors. What we cannot also do is we cannot place the logo on colors that are not in the brand color palette, if we are talking about flat designs, and we cannot add anything to the logo. Add anything on top of the logo or behind the logo in terms of glow or shadows or anything like that. So talking about the color palette next, the color palette, I think everybody is pretty familiar with the color palettes for the logo for Toastmasters. The three primary colors are True Maroon, Loyal Blue, and Cool Gray. Whereas as an accent color, we can use Happy Yellow. So accent colors primarily mean that they are not major elements inside the design itself, whereas they are supporting elements. So if you're using aspects like a background or an image, like you cannot predominantly, you should avoid using the color yellow as the most dominant color. Your dominant colors should rely on these three colors, whereas these colors can be used to support in terms of text backgrounds or in terms of text colors itself. If you download the brand guidelines, you can find the hexadecimal codes as well. You can, if you're using it for print, you need to use the CMYK code. And the other codes, if whatever you feel comfortable. Primarily, I would recommend whenever you're designing for online, you will be using the hexadecimal codes. Whenever you're designing for print, you'll be using the CMYK codes. So we are permitted to use different gradients as well, primarily of the three primary colors, which is the blue color gradient instructions, which goes from loyal blue to blissful blue. If you refer to the brand guidelines, you'll find the hexadecimal codes right there as well. But you can also go from any of these colors to white, which is also permitted. But going from this color, loyal blue, to maroon is discouraged. Going from mixing these colors is also discouraged. Our designs are also permitted to use transparencies, which means that you do not have to use the full color, 100% color of the colors provided. You can use a mixture of different colors, predominantly by placing a white layer above it and reducing the opacity to 70%. You can achieve different colors of the blue and the orange color. On the gray, I don't think you will be using the transparencies as much because it's pretty redundant. We also have the pathways logo that we can utilize in different pathway related materials. Same rules apply in terms of spacing, minimum size. We can use it in grayscale, white, and full color as well. The pathway badges that can be utilized for different designs are also included over here. Which brings us to the fonts. A lot of people utilize different kinds of fonts, which of course sparks our creativity, but of course does not always fall under the brand guidelines. Fonts are important, again, to maintain that consistency throughout all the materials that we publish. The permitted fonts are, for our titles, our headlines, you can use the font Gotham. Since Gotham is a paid font, you can also utilize the font called Montserrat, which can be found for free if you click this link over here. It'll redirect you to Google Fonts. As Montserrat is a free Google font, you can download the entire font family and utilize different weights of it as well. So I will just show you this really quickly here. So to create variations, you can definitely use different weights of different fonts. This allows you to create hierarchy as well. Whereas if you notice in designs, thicker fonts command our attentions first, and thinner fonts command our attention later. So if you're trying to put out a statement, whenever you're designing, if you want to highlight something really important, you would generally try to put that on a thicker font. And whereas if you want something to be a little more subtle, you would slightly decrease the weight of the font itself. So this entire family is available on Google Fonts as well, which you guys can utilize according to your need. If you have Gotham font, you can also utilize a condensed version of this font, which is a slightly narrower font, which again might be suitable to some of your designs. Whereas the standard fonts are, of course, the full width fonts are Gotham and Montserrat. Montserrat, I believe, does not have a condensed version. So if you are able to source the Gotham font, you will also be able to get the condensed font on that. Similarly, for the body text, the authorized font is Myriad Pro. the body text refers to headlines and body. So whenever you are using it to add text or a paragraph or anything like that, that is where you can utilize this font. Okay, so again, a clear reminder: headline and body. So for headlines, you can use Gotham or Montserrat. For body, you can use Myriad, or an alternate font is again Source Sans Pro, which is also available on fonts.google.com. If you are not able to resource any of these fonts, the tertiary font that comes with standard on most systems is Arial, which is also permitted. However, since these are free fonts, I would recommend you guys download it to maintain that consistency throughout all of your posts. Moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about images and photography. So whenever we're doing designs, we want to be creative and we want to use as much of different kinds of elements as possible, which majority of the times refers to images and photographies. So it is clearly mentioned here that we are not allowed to use cartoons, illustrations, or clip arts of any kind. We can use icons, but cartoons, illustrations, and clip art take away from that professionalism that we are trying to achieve, right? So whenever we're trying to do our designs, it is highly recommended that we use images. Toastmasters provides a gallery of free images that we can utilize on the photo shelter, which, internet permitting, I will show you guys really quickly here. So they have a host of different branded photographs, from everything from what is available in the brand manual to different photographs that we can utilize according to our requirements, right? It is not necessary that you utilize these photographs, but if you get the visual aesthetics of the designs of the images going, you can utilize your own resources. However, you have to maintain that look and feel that these photos provide. Also, always we need to be very vigilant about having the permission to use or reproduce any images or pictures that we utilize in our designs. Majority of the times, if we're sourcing it from Google or any of the sources, a few times we will run into copyright issues, but however, that is something we do need to be wary of. And Toastmasters International can be a little strict about that as well. So you can place your logo on photographs as well. However, you have to make sure that the background does not interfere with the logo in any way. It is contrasting enough, preferably in a flatter part of the surface of the background, without any distractions, any kind of gradients or any elements in the background. So as much as possible, try to place it on a flat background. And as much as possible, try to place your logo on the top left or bottom right. I highly recommend placing it at the top right, because visually, whenever our brain is processing any kind of designs or any kind of text for that matter, our eyesight goes first to the top left, because that is how we are wired. That is how we process any kind of design. So to move forward with the resources and visual, the brand portal and other elements of the brand guidelines, I'd like to hand the floor back over to Medha. And we will take questions towards the end. So if you guys have any questions, please hold on to it and we will answer any questions that you have as well.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you
we
are.
have,
Yes,
thank
you are.
So the brand portal shows and gives you elements or products, photos, word marks, and marketing business cards which are available to buy from the portal and from the website. But at the same time, if you want to print something on your apparels or any products or something like that, you need to send your design to the TI for approval. Usually, they go through it and they will recommend you to buy it from their website if it's very much to their own design. But you can always send your designs which are adhering to the brand guidelines and send it to the world headquarters for their approval, and then you can just get them printed or distributed among your club members. That's with the brand portal. Next, we have the email signature. So as you can see on the screen, this you can use as a VPPR or as a club officer or a division of a district officer. You can always use this club signature whenever you are sending emails. This shows the professionalism and the branding which you are promoting. So you can use the TI logo, all those major social media platforms where you can follow TI, the website of TI, their phone numbers, and with that you can add your own mobile numbers, your email IDs, and your contact details whenever we are sending your emails or any contact details to someone. If it's a formal mode of communication among your club members or your district members. These are the trademarks use request. If you want to for these for clubs, areas, divisions, and districts, and for all the whenever if you're having any contest at your clubs and you want to distribute uh, any anything or any apparels or any products, then you need to send mails with your designs to the TI, get them approved. If you're using it on a soft media, then no approval is required. If it's adhering to all the brand guidelines, you can always post it. But if you're getting it printed on something, any articles or ribbons or trophies or products or diaries, then you need to send an approval with the design to TI, get an approval from them. If they give you an approval, then you can get them printed and just distribute it among yourself. But you always need an approval. If you think that you are not using the logo, but even if you're using the name of your club, which is XYZ Toastmasters Club, even then you need an approval from TI because the word Toastmasters is also part of the brand. And if you're using the word Toastmasters, you need to follow all the guidelines, all the brand guidelines of TI. So whenever you want to buy something or you want to produce something which is not available on the website, always go with your design, send it to the TI for the approval, and then go ahead with it once you get the approval from them. The video guidelines. We have been seeing on a district page that lots of videos are being posted, but we are not approving them. Why? Because these are certain guidelines which you should always follow when you are posting a video. The club name or the district number should be placed below the logo to indicate which club or district created the video. This should always be there whenever you are posting a video from your club. Credits at the end should list the name, club, and district of the person or team that created the video. Proper credit should be given at the end of the video, whoever is a part of the video or whoever has created the video. The copyright symbol, district number, or club name and year should also be displayed. You should obtain a written permission from every individual in the video, and you have to use a separate video release form for each person. If you're sharing a video of your club celebration or something like that, you need to get a form filled with by each of the members who are a part of the video and ask their consent that your video is being promoted or being used on social media to promote your clubs. That should always be maintained. The video must not infringe on the intellectual property, privacy, publicity rights, ownership, or any other legal or moral rights of any third party, and must the video must not infringe on the intellectual property, privacy, publicity rights, and ownership of any of the third party, and the disclaimer below to one of the first frames of the video. You need to add the disclaimer. The first slide of your video should always be this one, the one in the brackets. Toastmasters International and all other Toastmasters International trademarks and copyrights are the sole property of TI. And this video is the opinion of the creator and is independent of TI. It is not authorized by or endorsed by, sponsored by, affiliated, or otherwise approved by TI. So the first slide of all your videos which you are posting from your club, area, division, or district should have this slide as the first slide, and the last slide should be the video credits. These two parts should be a very important part of your video if you are releasing any videos from your clubs. Once you have your video ready, you need to submit a trademark request or questions, or for any questions, you can always email the brand team. So whenever we are posting any videos on our district, even on the district page, let's start from the club. It's not just about the district or the division or area. Even if you're doing it from your club, always make sure that your videos have those title with this first disclaimer, and in the end it has the credits slide given in your video. That should be a part of all the videos being posted on the district page. The apparel guidelines, as I said, and the website guidelines. The apparel guidelines, if you have any design in your mind, you can always go to TI, get an approval for your design, and then go ahead with the printings. The website guidelines. As a club, area, division, or district, we prefer that you have a website, which becomes easier for people who are not a part of the TI community to find you and look what's there, what goes on in the club. So for the website, you need to read the protocol which is available in the website. Do not copy or re-upload information or content that is available to the general public on any Toastmasters website. As a website of your own club, you are expected to show all the information which are related to your club whenever you have your meetings, your members' experiences, and all those things. Please do not copy and paste from the TI website and make a copy of it. Your club website should completely show what your club is all about. Anything that requires a login or membership to access is off limits. And for even the website, you need to add the disclaimer below at the bottom of the website that the information on this website is for the sole use of TI members for Toastmasters business only, and it is not used for any solicitation and distribution of non-Toastmasters materials information. So if you have a club website or area division website, make sure that you have this disclaimer at the bottom of your website so that people who are entering their details, their phone numbers or contact details, they are assured that their personal details won't be shared with any other media or anything else, and it will be solely used for TI purpose. The corporate club guidelines. Now, if you are a part of corporate guidelines, you need to follow two set of guidelines. One, of course, of TI, and next is the organization which you are part of. So you need to always create materials which abide by the TI as well as your organization's guidelines. When using both the Toastmasters logo and the corporation logo, make sure they are never side by side. Don't put both the logos on one side. You can always put TI logo on the top right and your organization's logo on the top left side. Place the Toastmasters logo and the corporation logo on opposite sides or corners of the material, or have one on the top and one at the bottom. Keep it on the opposite sides or on the vertical or horizontally opposite sides. Never keep both of them together, because each logo is specifying and showing and promoting their individual organization. So each of the logos should be prominent enough so that each of the logo is able to showcase what they're promoting. And if you are using a logo which is not a part of TI, for example, very recently we saw many of the posters which were themed based on the Tokyo Olympics. So many of the clubs had posted posters where where people had used the logo of the Olympics. That's not acceptable. you can use logos of only those organizations which are in contact with TI. For example, Infosys or TCS, they are all corporate clubs with TI. So you can use the logos of TCS and Infosys along with Toastmasters. You cannot use logos of other organizations or corporations which are not a part of the TI or which are not in alliance with TI. Please don't use the logos. Only if you're a part of any corporate club or organizations, you can use the logos of those corporations. Next, we have the Gavel Club guidelines. It's for the members who are less than 18 years of age. You can use all Toastmasters brand guidelines regarding fonts, colors, photography, styles, and logo usage. In all instances where a chartered Toastmasters member club would use the Toastmasters International logo, make use of the Gavel Club logo instead. There is a different logo for Gavel Club. If you're a part of the Gavel Club, please make sure that you use the specific Gavel Club logo in your posters. Gavel Club banners, if sourced independently of Toastmasters International, must be identical to an approved banner design found here. From the website, it should be approved and then only you can use it. Be mindful not to alter the Gavel Club logo in any way. Do not create a custom logo for your Gavel Club. The same stands for the TI logo as well. If you're part of a normal club, you cannot alter the logo in any way. Same stands for the Gavel Club. If you're a part of the Gavel Club, you cannot alter the logo in any way. Just use the logo as it is. Do not distort it or change the color or background or anything else. Do not create a custom tagline for your Gavel Club. Please use the tagline which TI uses. That would be enough.
I do believe that brings us to the end of the brand manual itself. So what we will do next is we will look at a few examples of some case uses where we can discuss about what can be done differently or what errors there are in certain designs. So we've tried to take away any names or any associations, but if you do recognize and we happen to use your designs, please forgive us. So the first design, let me see here. Oops. So can anyone tell us what, this is a bad case usage, of course. So what violations of the brand guidelines is happening in this design?
Logo spacing.
First is color.
Okay. Color, logo spacing, anything else?
The image itself.
Image
The
itself.
font.
Font. Yeah, so all of you guys are definitely correct. So as I said, on the logo spacing, you should be leaving at least a certain space around the logo. A good frame of reference is just to have it excessive. If you look at the Toastmasters and International bottom line, these two linings, that is what the difference needs to be. Or basically, if you look at this red marker over here, these two markers, and you put a square, put it all around the design, you will be pretty much safe. The other, of course, is the font usage, whereas this is a more evident one. These are also not brand compliant. The color usage, of course, does not fall under the TI brand manual, as well as the use of illustrations and clip arts. Moving on, this is an example for anybody. Can anybody tell me?
No club name. And
The club
also,
name,
like
the
blurred,
club names,
blurred.
the club names I have hidden for privacy, so that people do not figure out who this is.
The image shows conflict.
Yes. So the major violation over here is that the image uses illustration or clip art. right? Similarly, on this poster, would anybody like to point out the things that are,
Cartoon font size.
yes, the use of cartoons, font size,
The
as
font
well,
is different.
yes, the font usage, clip art, as well as the logo placement over here. Right. How about in this poster?
Color,
Two logos are side by side.
In terms of the corporate logo, this is
Background of the
actually
logo.
fine. The problem is the background of the logo, which is not it. As much as possible, you need to place it on a plain background. Of course, the font and the background the text and the background need to be a little more contrasting, so to make it a little more visible. However, if you're doing a corporate logo, if you're a corporate club and you're using your logo, this is actually permitted. Similarly, the final one over here is admittedly one that I designed myself and was very close to being brand compliant. Can anybody tell me what I did wrong here?
Font.
The TMOE, the written word.
There is a mountain image.
Great.
The space after the logo.
The word TMOE itself.
I think there is a
The
big
font
problem
of
with
new beginnings.
Yes, the biggest violation over here is the font of new beginnings. In terms of this, the mountain itself, it's an actual image. I just use transparency to mask the image itself. Outside of that, the TMOE, the O is, I'm not exactly sure about this one either. Maybe Toastmaster Moon can help me out with this. Or Meda, do you know if we are allowed to use O in this form?
The font is fine for the TMOE. TMOE or TMOD, usually it is the TMOD, but some clubs, because the meetings are in the evening, so it is written TMOE. That is not a violation. As for the picture of the mountain, that is the Mount Everest anyway, actual picture of Mount Everest, if the picture was prominent, then it is not, it is discouraged because pictures of landscapes are discouraged. However, because it is on the background, that is not a violation. Yes, I just answered 2 questions, by the way.
Thank you. So that brings us to the end of all the case examples that we had. Of course, the other case example that I can point out over here, like icons like these that signifying a purpose are definitely encouraged and allowed. However, if this was represented by a clip art of a calendar of an art, of an art drawn, hand-drawn calendar or anything like that, that would be discouraged, right? So if you need some kind of, if you cannot find specific images, then definitely we do recommend that you utilize icons. So I think that ends our case examples as well. Meda, do you have anything to add, or should we open the floor for questions?
Yeah, I can add a little bit. All the PRs might be having this doubt that, oh my God, so many brand guidelines, and how can I be creative with my posters? So these brand guidelines give you an idea how you have to go ahead with it, with your posters. For example, if you get a theme, you are like blank, oh, what poster should I make? But if you have these guidelines, at least you have a slight idea that, yes, I have to use this specific color for my background. I have to use a specific color for my fonts. I have to use a specific fonts. So if you get a theme, the first thing you have to decide is what picture you're going to use. So for the pictures, you have that entire resource of TI available to you. You can always go to that. And if you don't get anything related to it in the resources, you can always go for pictures that are related to it, which look professional and friendly. It should not be very casual kind of pictures. So you can always go to the TI website and go to the resources and look for pictures for your posters. That's one thing. For backgrounds, you can always you have those specific 3 colors which you have to use for backgrounds. So first, go to the Canva and stick that one color on the background. Your one work is done. You think it's too plain, add gradients to it. If you think that it's looking very simple or something like that, you can always add little triangles or circles or stars as a background, pick background icons on the background color which you're using. So if you go to Canva, you will find many options to elevate your creativity in these limited options. So in the even these are very limited, you always have that option to go for more and more creativity, because within limitations you can always go ahead with more creativity of yours. If you have so many options, you are more confused like what to use and what not to use. But if you have these limited guidelines and all these things, you're always focused that yes, you have to follow these guidelines, and along with that you have to make it more and more creative. So whenever you are going to design any post or something like that, keep these things in mind. The TI logo should be there. It should be properly placed with no distortion or something like that. The perfect color should be used. Pictures from the TI resources should be used. The font should be there. For any variations, you can always go for making it bold or italics or changing the size. It's always available to you. And if you want, you can always use those icons of Zoom meetings or calendars or dates for your meeting details and all. And for any details or help, you can always come and ask us, not a problem. So with this, I think I'm done. So we open the floor for any questions if you have.
I see a hand raised by
Yeah,
Harshal.
Harshal.
Yes.
So TM Anuj, in the last example that you showed,
Mhm.
I think you also used a background, the happy yellow color for the names. Is that allowed? Is that all right? Because it's only used for accenting, right?
Yes, but when you are adding the accent part of it goes to support the major design. If you let me share that screen again so that it is a little more evident. So if you can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. The major color over here that I'm using, the primary color is blue. So the happy yellow is adding in as a supportive element, which is what an accent color is. It is not a predominant color, whereas it is the first thing that the eye catches in, because it is the contrasting. It contrasts to the blue background really well. However, the predominant color everywhere else is blue, right? And in terms of when I am using it for the background, it is again, it's not overly taking away from the design. So that is what accent colors primarily mean.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, Sanchita?
Yeah, I was asking, do we always make a poster for our club? We also make for word of the day and for the phase of the week. So for that also we have to follow the same guidelines, or we can be creative with that.
So I think this will answer a lot of the questions. As long as we are using the logo of Toastmasters or the word Toastmasters itself, we have to follow the brand guidelines, because Toastmasters in itself is a trademark word.
And
may I add?
Yes,
May I
please.
add? You might say that we're not using the word Toastmasters. We're not even using the name of the club, or the name of the club does not use the word Toastmasters. As long as it is for the purpose of Toastmasters Club, any material that is in print, even though it is in soft copy, posters, all the brand guidelines have to be followed.
One more extra, as I discussed, can you share a link or somewhere where the newsletter part is also discussed, or we have to follow the same guideline?
For the newsletter, I believe we have Distinguished Toastmaster Meenakshi here with us.
I would like her to clarify the question though.
Yeah, please clarify the question as well. Can you elaborate on the question a little more?
Can you please
Yes.
repeat the question?
Yes, yes. So this will be the first time I'm going to make a newsletter for our club, and I want to know, is that the same guideline that is given for making a poster or something else? And any more details should be there, like what should be there in newsletter and what should not be there in newsletter? Any like that we have to follow? Or that is only the brand manual that we have, that only we have to follow for the same newsletter only?
I think the question has two different questions in itself about the design and what should be in it. About the design, I think Toastmaster Anuj or Toastmaster Meda can answer. And about what should be in the newsletter, I would request Distinguished Toastmaster Meenakshi to please share.
So should I quickly elaborate on the design real quick?
Regarding the newsletter of the month, we'll be sharing guidelines in our first edition.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Regarding the design, as long as we are following the brand guidelines and we are being compliant to the brand, I believe we are open to having using a little bit of creativity in our design as well. So as long as we're following all of the brand guidelines, including fonts, including the colors, I think we are. You guys can explore a little creativity over there. In terms of content, I think Meenakshi can now take over.
Yes, I would also like to request Meenakshi to speak a little louder because you were not heard clearly earlier. Toastmaster Meenakshi. Okay, I'd like to repeat what she said. We in the newsletter, whatever the segment it is that the club decides, it can be the segment for the club's newsletter. Obviously, you want to put a segment for the newsletter editor's message, then you might want to put something about the club's whatever happening is there, update of the club, and articles from the members regarding whatever has happened in the club about their own changes, their learning. Any of these things can be put. As for what can be sent for the district newsletter, that's what Toastmaster Meenakshi was saying. Are you back, Toastmaster Meenakshi?
Yes, she is back.
She is back, but I don't hear her and she is not able to unmute herself. So on her behalf, I will say that we are going to be announcing we're going to be sharing the newsletter. Toastmaster Anuj will be disclosing when we will be sharing the newsletter. And at the end of the newsletter, this month's newsletter is messages from the leaders so that all the members are aware what the leaders are planning for the year. And at the end, we will be there will be a segment where we will share what kind of articles or what you can share to our club. If it is not. If it is okay to share right now, to Meenakshi, I'm going to share that you can send articles about what your club has, and we will have the best a winner for the best submission every month. Okay, so as Toastmaster Meenakshi is saying, we will be sharing the newsletter guideline in our first edition. We'd also welcome pictures for submission in the newsletter for the district newsletter. Yes, Toastmaster Anuj may be able to share when we will be launching our newsletter district.
Our newsletter will go live tomorrow evening. The specific time, I believe, is around 9 p.m. So please, hopefully you guys are excited about it. We have put in a lot of effort for it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well.
So we have 6 more questions. Akriti, Akriti Mathur. Toastmaster Akriti.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. Good evening, Toastmaster. I have a question. So for meeting flyers, the theme, let's say the theme is travel, and I take, can I take a royalty-free image from internet and use it for my theme flyer, and then add a layer of blue or maroon or gray to it and reduce the transparency so that the colors of the image are not shown but it merges with the layer of blue or maroon or the brand colors. Can I do that?
That's a really good question, actually. I believe to some extent that should be permissible, because as long as it is not interfering with the logo or any kind of the image is kind of similar to what you will find on the TI website, on the brand guidelines as well. I think that should be okay. If you want it more to be like more prominent, you would go for more images that are more similar to the brand guidelines. However, if it is not as protruding and does not command as much attention, I do believe it should be fine. I request Distinguished Toastmaster Moon to please confirm on that.
If it is regarding the color, then if you're using pictures, it doesn't have to be exactly the brand colors, because we won't be able to find exact brand colors in the pictures that we will be using. However, there is in the brand manual that was shared earlier by our Toastmasters, I'm not sure which segment it was, whether it was in the segment that was shared by Meda, Distinguished Toastmaster Meda, or it was shared by Toastmaster Anuj. But in the pictures segment, you will see in the images and photography, it says that stay away from pictures which are solely portraying landscapes. So a few things that are to be avoided is if it's only like the whole thing is about landscape only. So if you're showing travel destinations, then if it is just showing a landscape, then that is discouraged. So it should not be the main thing. It should not be the main thing in that poster. That's landscapes, animals, children, food, food appliances, medicine, architecture. These are things that are to be avoided, that because it doesn't portray leadership or speech. So when you're using that, try to avoid just using that as the main image. I hope I covered your question. There were 2 parts to that, 2 parts answer to that.
Yes, thank you so much.
Next, we have Vikash Kumar. Toastmaster Vikash.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I have 2 questions. So first is, can I create a poster without the logo and the like that word Toastmaster International? And the second is can I use only the word Toastmaster International as a logo? So the first one is,
So on the second part, there is a logo word mark that you can utilize that only has Toastmasters International, the words on it. I'm sorry, was somebody saying something?
Was Distinguished
So as I
Toastmaster
showed
Kaushik
in the
adding
brand
something?
guidelines earlier as well.
Can I request someone to please mute Distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik, please?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can you just paraphrase the question once more?
yeah. I just wanted to ask that whether we can create a poster without using the logo, like the word, the diagram logo and the word logo. And the second question is, can I just use the, if we have to use logo, then can I use just the word Toastmaster International logo?
So
Am
I'll
I
answer
clear?
second. Yeah, please go ahead.
Am I clear?
Yes, I got your question. Thank you. So I'll answer your second question first. Yes, you can use the word mark even if you are not using the logo. So either of the two things you can use. You can also use only the pathways or only the logo or only the trademark or only the word mark. So as long as they are from toastmasters.org/logos, that website that team just showed you in the PPT. So as long as they are from that source, you can definitely use either one of them. If you can create flyers without logo, yes, you can. There is no hard and stop fast rule that you have to create a flyer with a logo or a word mark on it. If you ask if you can, if you have to follow brand guidelines, when the logo is not there on the flyer, you have to follow a brand guideline as long as they are from the club, area, division, district, or region regarding Toastmasters International. Because irrespective of whether we use a logo or not, if I see a red colored bottle, can of cold drink, I assume it to be Coke. Same way, if something related to public speaking leadership with Toastmasters theme in it, I can have to follow that brand. So we want to create that brand, and every organization wants that. So it is best to use the logo because you anyway have to follow the brand guidelines. And if you use the logo, it also adds value to your picture or value to your message or value to your the communication that you're trying to send out, because you are leveraging the around 100 years old of an international organization with you in your message. So I hope those answers your questions.
Yeah. Can I ask one more question?
Please, sure.
Yeah, I just want to ask, like, just Moon Pradhan ma'am said that we should not use some photos which do not resonate with like the speaking or those things. So, like in the brand manual itself, I saw that there was a photo with a girl, like it was not related. I thought it was not related to any speaking or such things. So, like they have used those pictures. So why can't we?
What the DTM Moon meant, I would let DTM Moon add to it once I finish. What DTM Moon meant is that you should not be using pictures which are not in context of Toastmasters, like public speaking, leadership. And by speaking, it's communication. So all the pictures that are used in the brand manual, they imply communication in physical or that is non-verbal or a verbal manner. So it's not always about being on stage and speaking on mic. If I make a happy gesture, maybe that is a communication as well. So those things can also be used. I would let DT Moon add, and like I'm sure she meant this, and she can add all more to like the point that she shared.
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster. Toastmaster Anuj had shared the gallery of photos which can be found in the toastmasters.org or website. And what you will see is when you say public speaking, you will see people talking, discussing, people interviewing or just talking to each other, besides the speaking in a platform or a stage. So that is also communication. Also, when you are a leader, you will be holding discussions. You will be talking to your peers. So anything that has to do with some kind of something that deals with leadership or public speaking. Again, I would reiterate, public speaking does not have to be that you are on a stage or a platform, but you might be communicating in some way or the other. The names that I took earlier were the specific format of specific pictures that are discouraged from being used. And those are, I will repeat, landscapes, animals, children, food and food appliances, medicine, and architecture. So these are specifically spelled out in the brand manual as saying, don't use them as the main or sole portrayal. So I'm not saying that you cannot use them at all. You cannot use that as the main thing.
Thank you for such a beautiful answers, both Moon Pradhan ma'am and Kaushik sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll move on to the next question. Toastmaster Amir.
Very much for the floor. Well, my first question is that when you make the regular meetings flyer, so could you tell me about the standard flyer pixel size? That would be great for the regular meeting. Also, with that, I want to add, like,
for that,
since
it
we
really
are,
depends on what platform you're planning to share it on. So different platforms have different sizes. I
for example,
generally recommend.
for example, if it's uploaded on social media like Facebook.
Yes, exactly. So if you're, again, Facebook, Instagram, both of them have different sizes that you can go for. What I generally find comfortable is a size that is slightly portrait in a sense that Instagram standard size for maximum portrait is 1080 by
Okay, so
1350.
in specific, if you tell me like Instagram sites, so that would be perfect for Facebook as well.
Yes, we will be doing a more elaborate session on the design specifics as well. However, for right now, what I can tell you is that the size that is generally not going to get cropped on any of the platforms is 1080 times 1350. 1080 times 1350. 1350 pixels height, 1080 pixels on the width. So that should be standard for. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, 1080 and 13. Thank you very much for adding. Also, I want to add another question. Like, since we are having online meetings always, I mean, currently. So if I want to make a flyer with a Zoom screenshot, so is there any guideline of adding Zoom screenshots on a flyer? Like if I crop a Zoom screenshot, so what it should be? Is there any guideline, like if I want to add a screenshot on a flyer?
I do not know the specific answer because Zoom is something that is fairly new and we are adapting to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not completely familiar. Maybe I request the Distinguished Toastmaster Kaushik.
I'm just talking about to design
Yes,
to design the picture, like Zoom meetings pictures on a flyer by cropping it. So is it possible, or is there any problem if I do it?
No, there is no guideline regarding the use of Zoom pictures, but there has been no restrictions on the use of screenshot of a Zoom meeting. If you have noticed that there are some pictures that have been shared in the district Facebook group also, where clubs have sent posters with Zoom meeting screenshots there. So it is possible to use an actual meetings screenshot in our poster, maybe to say thank you or something like that. So that is possible, because right now we cannot safely have a picture of a physical meeting going on. So what is going on is the Zoom meeting. So that is possible. There has been no restriction or guidelines shared regarding that. So until that is shared, we can keep on using it.
Thank you.
But
one more
please
question
take the consent from all the members, the faces
Yeah.
which you are using to use on the posters. Please do that.
Yes,
I'm assuming that you're telling the when you take the group picture, please inform everybody that we're going to take the group picture. And I hope that at the beginning of each meeting, you are sharing that online approval to record the meeting so that it can be shared.
I just want to add one more question, this last question. So for example, if I want to make a birthday flyer, so on that case, can I use some elements to for designing practice?
Elements. Can you elaborate on what you mean by
I think Distinguished Toastmaster Medha had answered this earlier. Maybe she can answer it again.
Try to make it as professional as possible.
Okay.
Even if I'm making it as a birthday post, there are many professional elements available on Canva or any other platform which we're using for making flyers. try to keep that intact. And then you can add the photo of the person, you can write happy birthday and use all those things, not a problem with that. But make sure not to use any icons or illustrations which are not professional and abiding by the guidelines of TI. That has to be kept in mind.
Meaning, don't
Got it.
use illustrations of balloons.
Yeah, don't
Yes.
use all those things.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Not
for
the
sure.
balloons
Okay.
and streamers, not all those things.
Thank you very much. That's very nice. Please
Thank you.
carry on.
Next, we have Shri.
Good evening, everyone. So I wanted to ask, can we put words into italics or any statements? Italics, that the statement.
Italics.
Yeah.
So I do believe I mean, as far as I know, there are no guidelines that I saw about placing text on italics. I do believe the brand guideline itself had links, certain links in italics. So I do believe it should be fine to use italics. Again, different weights, underlines, italics should be brand compliant as long as they are of the same font family.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have a next question. On account of Independence Day, Indian Independence Day, I'm planning to prepare a poster for the, I'm planning to open up a competition for all the clubs. So this is going to be at the division level. So am I allowed to use the tricolor, or is there anything I should be taking care of while, I prepare this poster? And my second question is, what are the serious consequences, or what could happen if I am not brand compliant?
Okay, so number one, you cannot use the tricolor. There won't be any serious consequences if you are using, because nobody is going to punish you or something like that. But as I told in the beginning, as the PRs of the clubs, you have to promote the brand. And as a brand of TI, you need to abide by the guidelines, by the colors, and whatever you are doing in your post. So in whatever way you're promoting your club. So even if you are doing a contest, make sure that all the posters are brand compliant. For example, we had the XCOM announcer poster contest from the district, and the first criteria of the contest was that each and every poster should be brand compliant, and next comes the designs. So if you're holding any kind of contest based on anything, you have to make sure that they are brand compliant, because in every way they are promoting the brand of TI. And if you're promoting the brand of TI, you need to abide by the guidelines of TI.
I would like to add to that about the repercussions. If it is not serious repercussions, if Toastmasters International does not notice it, or we don't notice it, most probably there won't be any action taken. But if you go by the constitution or the protocols of Toastmasters International, you will notice that non-compliance of brand is the only thing where Toastmasters International will actually take action, and there can be serious repercussions. So I suggest that you do check the protocols, because there are serious repercussions that can happen. But it's when you don't follow the brand guidelines knowingly, and most probably that you did not do a serious injustice to the following of brand guidelines. I'm trying to say this as nicely as possible. So please.
Got it. Thank you so much.
I do believe we have one more hand raised by Praju. Praju.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Prazu from Chitwantam Landmark Toastmaster Club. My question is regarding the newsletter. Can I ask it right now?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the article that clubs had sent, do we have to copy paste it, or do we have to make some improvement, or something like that.
In terms of area?
Yeah, the articles that clubs have been sending, do we have to copy paste it just like they have sent it and just write about it, or do we have to just improve it?
I think what Toastmaster Anuj was asking is it, are you asking in the capacity of a club VBPR, or in which capacity, and where the articles are being sent for which newsletter? Can you please clarify?
So different club have been sending articles for the newsletter of this month or year, I guess. So I'm the designer for the newsletter, and so I was confused.
Which newsletter? Which newsletter?
Division N.
Okay, so you are in the division newsletter. Okay.
Yes, you should have a team. I believe the Division N director, Toastmaster Ankit, is also here. I understand that there is a team for a newsletter for the division, and the division newsletter team will be checking the correctness of the grammar and the content that has been sent for the facts before the designer, which is you, can place them. So the designer does not have the responsibility, should not have the responsibility of editing the content. I hope Toastmaster Ankit has heard this and will clarify with you in future.
Well noted, and I'll clarify it with the newsletter team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from Toastmaster Pawan.
Yes, good evening, everyone. My question is to distinguished Toastmaster Mehta. There are a lot of details regarding the video. As you mentioned earlier, there has to be copyright, disclaimer, and credit. And I haven't seen such details in video, especially referring to the YouTube. So it will be easy for us to understand if you can give the link of any video as such.
Sure, we will soon. If you go to our website on our YouTube channel, you will be finding all the uploaded videos from the district. And in each of the videos, you will find the first slide is a disclaimer and the last slide is the credit. So you can get an idea from that. We have our District 41 Toastmasters YouTube channel, and all our videos are uploaded over there. So you can get an idea from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, do we have any more questions?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Generally, we all clubs make flyers. So this template, the flyer templates, if this could be shared, then other clubs may use that template. So in that case, is there any platform where this template can be found?
So as the district PR team, we are working on creating a Canva template that anybody can use. Once that is done, we will be sharing it in the specific groups so that people may be able to use those as well. Right now, we're working on creating certain templates that everybody can use.
Thank you.
In addition to a session where our Toastmasters, Toastmaster Anuj and the team there, we have a team of creative excellence managers who will be guiding you on how to create posters on Canva, because Canva seems to be the easiest medium, even though more proficient designers would most probably want to use Adobe platform. Maybe in the future, if there is a demand for learning how to design in Adobe, maybe we can go there. But currently, we will be doing for Canva. So when that happens, I'm sure Toastmaster Anuj and team will also be sharing some, not a lot, but just some designs which can be used by all the clubs. So they will tell you how you can adapt those templates.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Yes, we are done.
I think we're at a 1.5 hour mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if we do not have any further questions, I think we can move on.
So by the end of the meeting, we will be sharing a feedback form with all of you. So please share your feedback and what else do you need in our next sessions. We would be happy to be back with more sessions for you all.
I think you can share the feedback form.
Yes.
Okay. I don't have it right now. We will be sharing it to the registered email IDs.
Okay. Yes, I think that'll be better, and we can share it in the VPPR group as well as the PRM groups of the division and the areas. If there were any questions, please let us know now. There was one question that was sent to me in personal direct message by one of the members who is here, regarding the continuation of sharing word of the day. Because word of the day is not primarily the responsibility of the PR team, this team has not started doing that. There was an offer from one division that they would like to provide input on that and provide support for that. So we are talking about that, discussing that, but from the PRM team itself, we haven't thought about starting the word of the day right now. If that support materializes, then we may go ahead and start that. You can go ahead and start your own word of the day if you want. Word of the day is supposed to be used from the format that we have in Toastmasters. It's supposed to be used in the meetings for that meeting only. So we can maybe start it in the future, but right now we do not have that. Thank you. Maybe Toastmaster Veda can do a closing remark.
Yeah, I have one last question. Sorry.
Sure.
Just sure. If you can see, I have used a background around the image, a frame around the image. Is that okay? I'm not sure if you're able to see.
There is a frame around each of the image.
Yes. So is it okay with it? Means
it's for you to design how you want to keep a frame around an image or not.
Yeah. So it's not nothing. It's not.
There is no regulation against that.
As long as the colors,
color of the frame should be brand compliant.
Yes, as long as the colors are compliant, I think they should be fine.
Thank you.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We will soon be sharing the feedback form with all of you. Please send us your feedback and help us know what you want in our next sessions. Thank you so much.
And please follow all the Toastmasters International platforms in please keep checking the website, of course, but there are Facebook page, there's a page for resources for Toastmasters, and then we have our own District 41 Facebook social media platforms in Facebook page, Facebook group. We have a Twitter page, which we will be activating soon. And then we have LinkedIn and Instagram is also there, which we keep updating. So please do follow us so that you're updated. Of course, we will have our posters shared in the WhatsApp group also, but sometimes that tends to get lost. So if you want to find something, then you can go to a Facebook page and find some Facebook page or Facebook group or Instagram, and you can find those there.
I would like to add one more thing. since there were many questions asking that if we don't use the TI logo or the Toastmasters, what can we go ahead? As a VPPers, I would request you have to promote the TI guideline and not hide them. So please make sure you use the logo and the word TI and Toastmasters International, and go ahead with using the brand guidelines, please, because you have to promote TI. That's why you have become the VPPR of the club. So please do that.
Okay, thank you for being here, and see you around in our platforms or in WhatsApp groups or in future meetings like trainings like this. All the best with your journey of protecting the TI brand guidelines, TI brand, as well as promoting Toastmasters International while promoting your clubs. Hope your club gets a lot of mileage, and in turn, Toastmasters International and the district will benefit. All the best.
Thank you guys very much for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.